They call her Jessica. On social media, her face and her movements are everywhere. Short videos play one after the other. You see her diving confidently into a bright blue pool, emerging while holding the fin of a massive black and white orca, performing synchronized moves to the sound of applause. In every shot, you can feel the mastery, the connection, almost a dance between human and animal. The clips are beautiful, almost hypnotic. You see Jessica smiling, waving to the crowd, stroking the muzzle of her marine partner, then leaping back into the water. The angles change. Sometimes she glides on the orca's back. Sometimes she stands balanced on its head, launched skyward in an impressive jump. The illusion is perfect. You'd think you were watching the career of a world-class trainer. And then the rumor slips into the story. Under the videos, the captions are similar. Jessica Radcliffe devoured by her orca during a live show. Simple words but heavy ones, transforming every image into the prelude to a tragedy. On TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, the legend spreads at lightning speed. The same clips are reposted, slowed down, zoomed in, sometimes with ominous music and alarming voiceovers. The story goes that one day, in the middle of a performance, the orca suddenly stopped playing, grabbed her by surprise, pulled her under the water. While screams pierced through the crashing waves, the pool turned red and the terrified audience watched, powerless. In the comments, everyone has their own version. Some claim they saw the full video. Others talk about revenge, divine punishment, or an animal gone mad. And the more the story spreads, the more invented details pile up until the line between truth and fiction is completely blurred. The circulating footage never actually shows the attack itself, but that doesn't stop the collective imagination from filling in the blanks. Some edited clips pretend to reveal Jessica's final moments. The trainer diving near the orca, climbing onto its back, then disappearing behind a splash. The video cuts there, as if to leave the legend hanging. That's when it all changed. Other edits are even more dramatic. Slow motion emphasizes every gesture, every glance. A zoom on the orca's eye seems to reveal, according to some viewers, a glint of hostility. Sound effects amplify the supposed screams of the crowd. In some versions, the image turns black and white at the moment Jessica slips into the water, accompanied by a low, heartbeat-like thud. Testimonies pour in. One comment says, "I was there. I saw everything. It was like a horror movie." Another swears the water turned red, that the orca refused to let go. Some go further, claiming the animal had known Jessica for years, but that day something had changed. Revenge, frustration. On forums and in reaction videos, everyone has their interpretation. Some blame captivity for making the animal unstable. Others speak of divine punishment, as if nature had taken back control. More sensational accounts invent everything. A body recovered from the pool, an eerie silence after the screams, children crying in the stands, and with every repost, the rumor grows. YouTube channels specializing in shock stories seize on it, adding theatrical voiceovers, suspenseful music, and clickbait titles like The Forbidden Story of Jessica Radcliffe. Very quickly, it becomes almost impossible to tell reality from fiction. For many, the story is no longer in doubt. Jessica Radcliffe died, taken by the animal she loved and had dedicated her life to training. And yet, behind this gripping narrative lies a detail almost no one bothers to check: the facts. Because as spectacular as it sounds, the story of Jessica Radcliffe has no concrete evidence, no date, no place, no official witness, no article from any credible media outlet, no statement from SeaWorld or any other marine park, not a single report from the U.S. agency in charge of workplace accident investigations. Worse, or better, Depending on how you see it, there is no proof Jessica Radcliffe ever existed. Her name appears in no public archive, no marine show registry. So, where does this story come from? It actually follows the classic pattern of a viral hoax. It starts with a few images taken out of context. In this case, real footage of an unknown trainer working with an orca during a regular show. Ordinary clips, which, once paired with a dramatic title and a gripping caption, suddenly take on a completely different meaning. Then come the blogs and obscure websites chasing easy clicks. They publish sensational articles, making up the missing details, the supposed date, the audience's reaction, the animal's anger. These stories are then reposted on social media, dressed up with ominous music, slow motion, and sometimes even AI-generated images. The mechanism is well-oiled. The more the story is repeated, the more it feels true. Viewers stop asking, "Did this happen?" and start asking, "Why did it happen?" By subtly blending fiction with real references, like genuine past accidents involving orcas, the hoax becomes almost indistinguishable from reality. Keltie Byrne, Sealand of the Pacific, February 20th, 1991. The morning is cold on Vancouver Island, Canada. At Sealand of the Pacific, a small marine park, the pool reflects a low gray sky. Keltie Byrne, 20 years old, is a student, a former competitive swimmer, and a part-time trainer. She knows the orcas she cares for, Tilikum, Haida, and Nootka. That day, she is cleaning the platform near the pool. One misstep, a slip, and she falls into the icy water. From the first second, everything changes. An orca grabs her foot and drags her under. Witnesses say she resurfaced in panic, swimming desperately toward the edge. But another orca cut her off and pushed her back. For them, it was a game, a deadly one. Every attempt to escape was blocked. Keltie's screams echoed. Trainers threw ropes, slapped the water, shouted orders. Nothing worked. The three orcas, perfectly coordinated, kept her from getting out. After long minutes, she disappeared under the surface for good. Her body was only recovered after the animals were isolated. It was the first documented human death caused by captive orcas. Among them, Tilikum, who would return tragically to the spotlight nearly 20 years later. Alexis Martínez, Loro Parque, December 24, 2009. Morning in Tenerife, Canary Islands. The sun is already shining over the main pool of Loro Parque. Alexis Martínez, 29, a passionate trainer, is in the middle of a rehearsal before the Christmas show. With him is Keto, a male weighing over 5 tons, whom he has known for years. The session seems routine. Alexis makes the usual gestures. Keto responds to the signals. Then, without warning, everything changes. Keto charges, hitting him violently. In the water, the advantage is absolute. Keto grabs him, drags him in fast, chaotic movements. Trainers on the edge shout, wave their arms, but Keto doesn't let go. By the time rescuers manage to pull Alexis from the pool, he is unconscious. Resuscitation attempts fail. His death, on Christmas Eve, hits the park's team hard and reignites debates about trainer safety and the unpredictable nature of these animals, even after years of working together. Dawn Brancheau, SeaWorld Orlando, February 24, 2010. 2 months later in Florida, SeaWorld Orlando faces a tragedy that will make headlines worldwide. Dawn Brancheau is a respected figure in the field, charismatic and beloved by the public. That day, she finishes a session with Tilikum, the same Tilikum involved in Keltie Byrne's death. The crowd applauds as she kneels near the edge, but in a split second, the atmosphere shifts. Tilikum grabs her and pulls her underwater. Accounts vary. Some talk about her hair floating in the water, others about a movement mistaken for a cue. What is certain is that Tilikum never lets go. The trainers try everything: loud noises, water jets, trained calming gestures. Nothing works. After long minutes of an unequal struggle, the pool goes still. Dawn is dead. The partially filmed scene shocks the entire world. Even censored, the footage runs in loops on news channels. Accusations rain down on SeaWorld. Lack of transparency, prioritizing shows over safety, exploiting animals. These three stories are not rumors, nor viral fabrications. They are confirmed by witnesses, official investigations, and public records. They alone are enough to prove that behind the smile of a marine show, a predator's power never truly disappears. Three separate tragedies, nearly 20 years apart, all tell the same truth. These are animals of colossal strength, capable of surgical precision and total unpredictability. No matter the years spent together, the bonds formed, or the meticulously rehearsed routines, against an orca, a human remains vulnerable. First lesson: instinct never disappears. In the wild, orcas hunt in groups, develop strategies, coordinate movements. In captivity, these behaviors can shift. They no longer hunt to eat, but their play instincts remain. And with a human body, that play can turn dangerous, even deadly. Second lesson: captivity has a cost. In the ocean, an orca can travel up to 100 kilometers a day. In captivity, it circles endlessly in a pool far smaller than its natural habitat. Stress, boredom, isolation, or forced proximity to other orcas can create tension. For an animal weighing several tons, a single mood change can turn a show into a tragedy. Third lesson: safety protocols evolved, but too late. After Dawn Brancheau's death, the U.S. Occupational Safety and Health Administration imposed major changes banning trainers from entering the water with orcas during shows, increasing safety distances, introducing new training methods. But these measures came only after decades of ignored or minimized warning signs. Before 2010, several serious incidents had already occurred without sparking real reforms. Fourth lesson: the line between fascination and danger is thin. Marine parks sell the image of perfect harmony between human and animal, but that image hides reality. An orca remains a predator, even in the most controlled setting. Every performance carries risk, even if the public doesn't see it. These lessons should be enough to warn people about the true nature of these shows. Yet it took 3 widely publicized deaths for the rules to change, and even then, only in certain countries. Elsewhere, the same practices and the same dangers remain. So what's left of the Jessica Radcliffe story? Nothing more than a rumor, a fiction born on social media, inflated by out-of-context footage, amplified by collective imagination and the well-oiled machinery of misinformation. A viral legend that fooled thousands in just a few days. But if this story struck such a chord, it's because it awakens a very real fear that the border between performance and tragedy is fragile, that the trust a human places in a wild animal can shatter in an instant, that marine parks prefer to hide this truth because it threatens the dream they sell to the public. Keltie Byrne, Alexis Martínez, Dawn Brancheau. They are not inventions. Their names are not shared for shock value, but because they paid with their lives for their closeness to one of the ocean's greatest predators. Their stories aren't viral by accident. They are documented, real, irreversible. Lies can give you chills. The truth freezes your blood. And that's the paradox. People grieve for a Jessica who never existed, while the real tragedies deserve far more of our attention and memory.